What happens when a ruthless car dealership manager humiliates a young customer, only to discover he's the new owner? Watch till the end to see how one unexpected twist turns the entire business upside down. Horizon Motors was a dealership with a long history but a rocky present. Under Greg Hastings' management, the business had seen a steady decline. Once known for its customer-first approach, the showroom had become a place of high-pressure sales tactics, an overworked staff, and a leader who ruled by intimidation rather than inspiration. Greg sat in his glass-walled office watching the showroom floor with a sharp eye. His slicked-back hair and perfectly pressed suit projected authority, but underneath his impatience boiled. He didn't have time for casual browsers, only serious buyers. "Emma, Jake," he barked, stepping out of his office. "I need numbers today. No more babysitting window shoppers. If someone isn't ready to buy, move on." Emma, a hardworking junior salesperson, exchanged a glance with Jake. They both knew the reality. Greg's approach was driving customers away. Just then, the bell above the entrance chimed. A tall young man entered, dressed in a tailored navy suit and a long black overcoat. His presence was quiet but commanding, and as he stepped forward, his sharp blue eyes scanned the room with curiosity. Emma instinctively stepped forward. "Good morning, sir. Welcome to Horizon Motors. Looking for anything in particular?" The young man gave a polite nod. "Just browsing for now." Before she could continue, Greg stormed over. "Emma, stop wasting time. Sir, unless you're buying today, we don't do free tours." The young man turned his gaze to Greg, his expression unreadable. After a moment, he simply said, "Noted," and turned to leave. As he reached the door, a sleek black SUV pulled up outside. The driver hurried out to open the back door, and a distinguished man in a tailored gray suit stepped out. The moment he entered the dealership, his face lit up as he spotted the young man. "Mr. Trump, I wasn't expecting you this early," the man said, shaking the young man's hand. Greg's face turned pale as the regional director, Mr. Harrison, turned to the staff. "Everyone, meet Barron Trump, the new owner of Horizon Motors." The room fell into a stunned silence. Greg's jaw tightened as the weight of his mistake hit him like a freight train. He had just kicked out Barron Trump, the new owner of Horizon Motors. Emma's eyes widened in shock, while Jake, standing behind her, muttered under his breath, "Oh man, Greg's done for." Barron turned back from the entrance, adjusting the cuffs of his tailored suit. His expression remained calm, but there was an undeniable authority in his presence. "Not exactly the warm welcome I expected," Barron said, his voice smooth but firm. Greg stammered, his usual arrogance faltering. "Mr. Trump, I didn't realize who you were." Barron raised an eyebrow. "And if I weren't me? Would you still have treated a customer that way?" Greg opened his mouth but found himself at a loss for words. Harrison stepped in before he could dig himself into a deeper hole. "Mr. Trump," Harrison said respectfully, "I deeply apologize for this misunderstanding. I assure you this is not how we operate." Barron held up a hand, silencing him. His gaze remained fixed on Greg. "You're the manager here, correct?" Greg swallowed hard. "Yes, sir." Barron nodded slowly. "Then you and I are going to have a long conversation about the way this dealership is run." A heavy silence filled the showroom. The other employees who had long suffered under Greg's rule exchanged glances, some hiding smirks. Greg forced a nod, though his palms were sweating. "Of course, Mr. Trump. Right this way to my office." But Barron shook his head. "No need. We'll have this conversation right here." He turned to the rest of the staff. "Because I want everyone to hear it." Greg shifted uncomfortably as the entire showroom, salespeople, service staff, even customers, turned their attention toward him. Barron folded his arms. "Tell me, Greg, how do you treat customers who don't look wealthy? Who don't immediately express an interest in buying?" Greg hesitated. "Well, sir, we prioritize serious buyers. Time is money." Barron's lips twitched into a small smile. "Funny, my father built his empire on the belief that every customer matters. That respect isn't something you give based on someone's appearance." Greg felt his stomach drop. "I understand, sir. It won't happen again." "Oh, I know it won't," Barron said evenly, "because starting today, Horizon Motors is getting a complete overhaul, and that starts with leadership." The entire room stiffened. Greg's eyes darted to Harrison, silently pleading for help, but the regional director simply folded his arms. Barron turned to Emma. You treated me with respect when you didn't know who I was. That's the kind of leadership this place needs. Emma blinked, stunned. I was just doing what I thought was right. And that's exactly why you're being promoted, Barron said. Greg's mouth fell open. What? You're fired, Barron said bluntly. Effective immediately. The room erupted into whispers while Greg stumbled over his words. Mr. Trump, please, let's talk about this. I've been here for years. Barron didn't flinch. Years of driving away customers, years of mistreating employees. If this dealership is going to succeed, it needs a leader, not a bully. Greg's face burned red with anger and embarrassment, but he knew arguing was pointless. Without another word, he turned and stormed out, slamming the glass door behind him. The room remained silent until Jake muttered, Well, that was satisfying. A few people chuckled nervously. Emma, still in shock, turned to Barron. Are you sure about this? Barron smiled. Absolutely, and you won't be alone. I'll be personally overseeing the changes here. We're going to make this place better together. For the first time in a long time, the employees of Horizon Motors felt hope. With Greg gone, a new energy filled the showroom. Some employees were relieved, others uncertain. Emma, still processing her sudden promotion, looked to Barron. What happens now? She asked. Barron gave a confident smile. Now we fix what's broken. He turned to the staff. I want honest feedback. What's wrong with this dealership? At first there was hesitation, but then Jake spoke up. The pressure to hit numbers is insane. We're forced to push unnecessary add-ons, even if the customer doesn't need them. A service technician added, The repair department is understaffed. Customers wait days longer than they should. Another salesperson chimed in, Greg played favorites. If you weren't part of his inner circle, you got the worst leads and no chances for advancement. Barron nodded, listening carefully. All right, here's what's going to happen. First, we're ending dishonest sales tactics. We'll sell cars based on value, not manipulation. Second, I'm hiring more service techs to speed up repairs. And third, promotions will be based on merit, not favoritism. The room buzzed with excitement. For the first time, it felt like real change was coming. Not everyone was thrilled. A few senior employees, especially Greg's former allies, weren't happy about the changes. This kid doesn't know the car business, one whispered. He's just playing CEO. But Barron was well aware of the whispers. He called a meeting with the entire staff. I know some of you think I don't belong here, he said, pacing the room. You think I'm just a rich kid playing boss? But I promise you this, I don't care about titles. I care about results. He gestured toward Emma. She earned her promotion because she treats people right. And that's the kind of dealership we're going to be. One of Greg's old allies, a senior salesman named Todd, crossed his arms. And if we don't like these changes, Barron met his gaze without hesitation. Then you're free to leave. Todd scoffed but said nothing. Barron continued, If you stay, you'll be part of something better. A dealership where customers want to come back, where employees feel valued. The room fell silent. Slowly, one by one, people nodded in agreement. Barron smiled. Good. Now let's get to work. A few weeks later, Horizon Motors was already changing. Customer satisfaction was up, and employees were more motivated. But the real test came when a VIP client walked in, a high-profile businessman looking to purchase a fleet of luxury SUVs. If they landed this deal, it would be the biggest sale the dealership had seen in years. But the businessman was known for being tough. As the meeting began, Emma led the discussion, showcasing the dealership's new customer-first approach. But the client frowned. I've heard good things about your changes, but can you prove it? Barron, who had been observing, stepped in. I'll do better than prove it. I'll guarantee it. The room went silent. You don't pay a dime until you're completely satisfied, Barron said. If even one vehicle doesn't meet your standards, we'll make it right. The businessman studied him. Then, after a tense moment, he extended his hand. You've got a deal. Applause broke out in the room. The sale was a massive success, and it proved that Horizon Motors was truly turning a new leaf. Months passed and Horizon Motors had become unrecognizable from the struggling dealership it once was. Emma flourished in her new leadership role and employees were happier than ever. Sales were up, but more importantly, trust was back, both among staff and customers. One afternoon, Barron visited the showroom, watching as a family happily drove off in their new car. Emma walked over with a smile. "We just broke our all-time sales record," she said. Barron nodded. "That's what happens when you put the right people in charge." As he looked around, he saw a dealership that wasn't just about selling cars. It was about respect, integrity, and second chances. And it all started with one moment of change. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this incredible journey, make sure to hit that like button, share with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tailcraft. Stay up to date with all our latest stories. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss a new adventure. We've got plenty more exciting content coming your way, and we can't wait to share it with you. See you in the next video.